Well, like any other person in the audience, I am also grateful to Dr. V.P. Rao for creating this excellent forum on which we can discuss the problems of senior citizens, exchange our views, and give some suggestions to the policymakers. I'm going to talk about aging and socio-economical status. Normally, it's a custom that whenever we go to deliver a talk in a medical conference, we always give a disclaimer that I have no personal interest with any pharma or anything like that. But this is a different disclaimer. I'm digging my own grave by telling you all that I'm going to talk on socio-economic issues, but I'm neither a social scientist nor an economist. I'm a simple doctor. I'm a physician who is interested in geriatrics, and from a physician's perspective, because all said and done, those social scientists, they give us about the insight about and the guidelines about the social issues. The economists tell us about the economy, but basically it is the we physicians, we doctors who come in touch with elderly and face their day-to-day problems. So I think we also have a right to give our views. We started this society in 1982 in geriatrics, and now this is our active team. I think we had Professor Vinod Kumar here. He must have just now gone out, and Dr. Ambali is also a part of this active team for this entire crusade. We have also given to the medical students and medical colleges in this country, and also the medical practitioners throughout the length and breadth of the country, certain books on geriatrics, which are the first and the only textbooks which give about the comprehensive coverage. Why I am showing these books over here is because normally a textbook of medicine tells about the medicine only, medicine and medicine only. But this is the only book in the world which has chapters about social issues, chapters about economical issues. In the book we have talked about the reverse mortgage also, we have talked about how to make a will also, and we have also a chapter on legal and constitutional provisions which the elderly would like to ask from a doctor. All right, doctor, what is there for me in the constitution? We have also made certain guidelines for the elderly persons, and these are the only guidelines in the Asia regarding which elderly should be vaccinated. The moment you have a child, every mother carries some kind of the vaccination card that the child has received the vaccination for A, B, C, D. These are the things. While how many elderly know about their vaccinations, still a very big question mark. So we have these guidelines for them. We have also done several conferences to draw the attention and also to percolate the knowledge of geriatrics among our fellow colleagues so that they could treat their elderly patients better. And we have been working from one corner to the other corner of the country, including certain areas which have neither the railways like Riva. Riva doesn't have a railway till date. And there are many medical places like Bijapur, which has 2 medical colleges, but there is no airport. And we also have a fellowship program for ours. We all know that the world is aging. We are all aging. It's a biological phenomena. It's a global issue with its implications on various infrastructures, which also include the social as well as finance, apart from health. This was the first report by WHO which alarmed everybody, that a majority of the elderly are going to be in the developing countries. In the developing countries with limited resources, which are supposed to be used for development only, there is going to be a burden of geriatric population. And it was this alarming report which made many people think. As far as we are concerned, we all know that from 6.7% to 10.7%, which is the projected figure by the year 2021, 10.7% does not seems to be that impressive a figure. But when you come to the absolute number, it comes in millions. So a country which is as such still riddled with infections, what to talk of prevention? We have the geriatric population also, which has a double burden of infection plus degeneration. Mind you, elderly is not one simple segment. There are rural elderlies, there are urban elderlies. Both have their different problems. In each, whether rural or urban, there are rich and poor, and in each one of them, there are 3 segments There are fit people, there are diseased people or disabled people, and there are people who need assisted living. When the definition of health comes, it says it's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. But nowhere economics or finances are mentioned, which are more important than the health. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are 5 components of health they are to be considered. One is the physical, second is the mental, third is the spiritual, social, and financial, and all are equally important. As far as physical health is concerned, in this country we have a large network of medical colleges, both recognized and unrecognized. There are primary, tertiary, and secondary care centers. There are district hospitals. There are PSCs, CSCs, and above all 1,38,000 private practitioners who are apart from this government setup. And lately, for last couple of years, we are thankful to the government that they have recognized Ayush. Ayush means not that Ayushman Bhava. Ayush means Ayurveda, homeopathy, Siddhartha, Unani, etc. So even those systems of treatment which are more prevalent in the rural sector rather than the urban sector have been recognized by the government, and we are getting a good feedback about their excellent work. The other health that is very important is the mental health. Why mental health? Because earlier nobody used to bother for many things, but now we see an alarmingly rise of the cases of depression and anxiety. And in the morning, the chief guest had raised the point about the mental health, which is a very relevant issue. But when we come to the other components, the third one comes the spiritual. The spirituality is something started from India, went to Europe and America, and now being imported from there. There are plenty of lectures on spirituality, especially by Deepak Chopra, in which when you enter the hall to attend that lecture, for an hour and 10 minutes, you shell out $1,000. So even that spirituality which is available free to us, as far as treatment of high blood pressure is concerned, it's a disease, lifelong disease. You have to continue to take the treatment. And the day you miss the dose, you get the blood pressure rise. But Shavasana, very well accepted now by the Western world also, is as effective as a pill to reduce the systolic blood pressure by 15 to 18 millimeters of mercury. So there comes the role of spirituality, though the spirituality, in spite of lot of suggestions and persuasions, has not been included in the definition of health by WHO, but it is the cost-effective thing, leads to positive thinking. Then coming to these last two things, social and economical, the basis of that was that the age-old joint family system in India has started cracking down. Till this system was there, we hardly bothered for social issues, we hardly bothered for the economic issues, because the children used to take care when the village was a unit and there was a joint family system. Now, because of the nuclear families, changing financial setups, Western influence, migrations, apathy, etc., this system is breaking down and leading to social isolation, poverty, reduction in family support, inadequate housing if one of the two partners is lost. And by the time one becomes old, one sees a lot of bereavement in the family, and there are limited options of arrangement left after the retirement. And also the two things which look medical but are social issues, they are the impairment of the cognitive function and mental illness. Mental illness is more of a social issue. To discuss this thing, like any other system of medicine, we look towards the West, and way back in 1995, there was an Indo-UK workshop to discuss about certain problems of elderly health. And it was concluded that as such, you don't have a proper infrastructure to look after the health of the other people, what to talk of elderly. So best thing is, try to revive your joint family system. Question is it a viable option? Are we going to stop migration? Are we going to stop the progress of our children? Are we going to tell them don't migrate from here? Not possible. But the government was not silent on this issue, though we criticize them day in, day out. The government has been continuously working on these issues. And there are certain constitutional provisions that have been created: old age pension, social security, social insurance, economic and social planning, relief to the disabled and employments were created under item 9. Similarly, under entry 24, there was old age pension specifically. Under article 41, there was the old age security. Like that, many other things have been created which were concerned about the parents, which were concerned about the aged and informed people, which were concerned about securing the protection. And one by one, these are the number of the constitutional provisions that are there for elderly. If you wish to know a list, they are there in my book. You send me an email, I'll be happy to send you all these constitutional provisions by the return of the mail. Under the same social issues, a lot of other things were also created in which even nutrition was taken care of. Like that, there were certain legal provisions they were also created. And in Himachal government, which was the first one to talk about these legal issues, and they raised lot of hue and cry after this judgment, which was concerned with the maintenance issues of the children. Like Himachal, there were other judgments which came from Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. In Delhi, they went a step further. They said, okay, we also care for the place where the elderly are living, and Delhi Rent Control Act was the first one to come out in favor of the elderly, that when you are, by the time you are retiring, or if you have no other option, you have a provision to get your property vacated, which was otherwise impossible. Like that, there are many other social issues that have been created, and even the old age pensions, which was a meagerly 50 rupees amount to begin with, has gone up to 1000 rupees in Delhi. And the one which made the maximum impact was Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act in the year 2007. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one act which is faster than the fastest act. Here, by summary trial, the decision is taken and everything is decided within a month's time, and the elderly need not pay any fee for that. Similarly, there was many financial schemes, welfare schemes in the form of financial helps and supports, income tax slabs. Under ATC, certain exemptions were given, and even a pilot project was started by a government to see how these projects work. Sometimes this doesn't work like government.
It's working.
Not only this, National Old Age Pension Scheme was also started, and for destitute elderly, there were a couple of things that were started. Even Annapurna project was started, which had some very good positive points. The Oasis program was also a success, and the LIC of India, they also started certain schemes for the elderly, and Varisht Pension Bima Yojana is also being widely talked of. Dada Dadi bonds are also one of them. Suraksha bonds were also one of them, in which there was a 0.5% extra payment. Similarly, certain travel facilities were created. I am proud to say before this audience that I was the first one to write a letter to Madhavraji Scindia about railway concessions for elderly, but the concessions were given after the age of 65 and after the first travel of 500 kilometers. Means first 500 kilometers there was no concession, but later on the things were changed, and now from 0 kilometer onwards the concessions are given, and elderly female are given more concession than the elderly male, and the computers have the programming that moment the age is 65 plus, automatically the option for lower berth comes if it is available. By air also, Indian Airlines had started giving some concession, but every time you travel, you have to make an I-card. And the same thing was followed for some time by Jet Airways. Later on, they stopped doing it. By road, there are certain states which give certain preferential seats to the elderly and also concessions in the travel. Medical insurance schemes are also yet another one, and there are many schemes which are in pipeline in which they are saying that no medical examination will be done, no prior disease will be taken care of regarding giving any extra premium, and the premium will be also brought down, but it is still in the pipeline. There are medical insurance companies which are working on this thing, that can we make the insurance premium at par with the youth, but that is still being worked about. Let's see when it becomes, and Jan Arogya scheme is another one in this matter. The telephone connections were also given in Delhi by Delhi government on priority basis to elderly. Wealth is a health. This is being taught to the elderly, and now in Delhi, most of the old age homes, there is always some visitor once in a month who tells about the wealth management to the elderly free of charges, and he or she does not have any connection with any of the companies. This is an arrangement done by one NGO. However, there are many handicaps. Firstly, the knowledge of these things is not there among people. We are planning to give it from next month onwards. We have a web page called www.geriatricindia.com. On that web page, we are going to give a link of elderly welfare schemes, elderly financial schemes, elderly the provisions for elderly in constitution as well as in the law. There is a lack of cooperation by the authorities which are supposed to implement them, and accessibility becomes a big issue. The awareness is being created through the media, through the leaders, Gram Panchayat, and also by many of the enforcement agencies. And there are many actions which include an increase in the GDP to health to 2%. So it's not that the Allah Gula is not having any impact. There are certain actions that the government is taking to take care of this thing. And moreover, from time to time, these things are being revised. For example, the old age pension initially started from 50 rupees is now 1000 rupees. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think the scenario to be that grim. I think now people are becoming conscious of their rights. I think now people are getting more and more access to the electronic as well as the print media. So I don't know how much time we will take. But certainly not that we are not neglecting our elderly. The government is also not neglecting them. Plenty of NGOs are also coming up. Constitutional provisions are being made. So in due course of time, I'm sure elderly will have something to do better for themselves. This is about those who are already elderly, those who are in the pipeline, those who are not yet elderly. For them, it's a hint that they should start the planning for their old age, as Mala also pointed out, and the planning from the old age, basically from biological point of view, starts from the age of 30, because after the age of 30, you start losing your hormones, you start losing certain nephrons, the kidneys, the lungs, the brain, the immune system, everything starts fading gradually. So, and that is the reason that all the pharma companies, they sell a product that is called antioxidant, which checks the oxidation in the body. Something like it is an anti-rusting thing which we use. That is the basis, and this basis holds good not only in physical and mental health, but also in social and economical health. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the reason I always say that we have to care for all 5 kinds of health, not 1 or 2 alone. If you have to develop your social health, then the beginning has to be done from the very beginning. It's not that once you retire, then you think of your social health. After retirement, you come out of the house and you look left, right, nobody will talk to you. Because during the time you were working, you used to get ready and go for your work and never bother for the neighbors. So why should neighbors bother for you?
2 minutes.
Similarly, I thought being co-chairman, you will have
2 minutes.
a softer corner for me.
No way. 2
Thank
minutes.
you. So it's good to develop some hobby also during the youth and good to develop some friends. Similarly, about the financial also, it is good, as was mentioned in the very beginning, don't spend your entire money on producing children, on educating them, on getting them married, on getting them settled in the jobs, or even looking after the grandchildren. Save something for yourself. Please secure that you have a house and some money to make your both ends meet. All your investments should be either or survivor, means after you, your spouse. This should be always there so that you don't have any dependency, and reverse mortgage is a weapon to be used if your children are not taking care of yourself. Let me tell you a small couplet. I hope you know. Gentlemen, for these strategies, we have to make individual efforts, NGOs, government, central government, state governments, and now fortunately, even the public sectors have to help us. Big corporates have to help us, because under the provision of corporal social security, they are supposed to help. At least 3% of their total budget they are supposed to spend on these welfare activity, in which elderly are also included. A young couple invites you, all young people. This is photograph of a young couple who are of the same age group, and when they became 60, they went to Pattaya and took a jump from the parachute. None of them knows swimming, and one of them is standing in front of you.
Showcase Sharma.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for those looking at the economic and social aspects from the physician's point of view. The topic is open for discussion. We'll take 1 or 2 small questions. Yes, gentleman there is there. Sir, please introduce yourself and let the question be short.
5 eyes for getting old, and I'm getting one or two of them. It doesn't matter. I'm 83 now. I'm Somasundaram, senior citizen. You gave me concession for coming to this function also. Now, my point is, I want to give back to the society as a volunteer for medical research.
Very good.
Is there any provision in your organization or any other agency who can take my services for medical research at this age? Can you volunteer?
I think Dr. Vinod Kumar should be in a position to reply this query. Money, I would have volunteered myself.
Where are you located, sir? Which city?
Bangalore.
I can give you a large number of addresses for Bangalore or any other city wherever you want to work. Okay. Now, with regard to Dr. Sharma's presentation, it has been a beautiful presentation, and he has a habit of making impossible into possible, which he has done again. He has covered an extensive journey of old age welfare right from Article 41 Constitution of India when it was written, right up to now 2007 when Maintenance of Welfare Act has been there. I have been framing rules for the government for this, some of the acts like Maintenance of Welfare Act, but I would like to say that the situation is like this for all these acts, although a lot of concessions have been given in tribal, etc., but there was a national policy of older persons which was enunciated in 1999. It was a very well intended and a beautiful document written, and I was a member of the working group to implement this policy for the first 5 years. This policy is yet to be implemented. It is now 2013. The policy has not been implemented. The working group was never given any teeth. There was no funding to implement this policy, so that is the situation. This policy now has been asked to be reviewed by the government in 2011 under the chairmanship of Mrs. Mohini Giri, and I was a member of this review subcommittee, and this again is a beautiful document, but we have gone a little further. The funding is being provided, and we hope this policy will now be earnestly implemented in whatever way the government helps us in implementing this policy. And also, this policy for the first time envisages that the help or medical help or any other help should be given to the doorstep of the person. The old person cannot go to the hospital, cannot even go to the primary health center. So home care has been given a very high priority of this policy. So even if this national policy of 2011, which is yet to be declared, it is lying in the Prime Minister's office, it is yet to be declared. Once it is declared, and if it is earnestly reviewed and implemented, then whatever you have written on these slides, lot of material you have given, I think almost everything has been taken care of by this policy. But I think our problem is to implement this thing. There are so many things which are enunciated, but the implementation is very bad.
Message is taken by the organizers
So
and
that
will be
is what my
forwarded.
comment is.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Dr. O.P. Sharma, sir. Please continue.
They are available with Viva Books. Viva Books, which has an office here.
I wanted to purchase
Viva Books. Viva Books. And
Now-
or if you give me your card, I'll ask them to contact you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Please come.
Okay, I have a question. I am here, right? So I was working on a program from the state government, which was focused on technology for the elderly. This is more towards self-reliance and independence. And while trying to write the charter, I was browsing a lot of data which is available, and one of which was from the WHO. They say that physical abuse of the elderly by the offspring, actually data-wise in the West, is the biggest abuse. And looking at the Delhi figures, elderly are actually at a very vulnerable spot. So is there a policy or any initiative that the state government is considering, or have you forwarded something where issues like this, because in general I think we as a nation are not very courteous towards each other when it comes to elderly.
Dr. Sharma must be knowing that now in America, a synergistic
Left second.
ring is being developed between 4-5 centers, statewide, district-wide, called compassion ring of compassion. This ring of compassion brings down anti-inflammatory process in the body and reduces aging. So this constitutes of one from judiciary, one from executive, one from legislative. So this compassion ring is being tried by Robin Cook, the famous novelist, in Florida and other places. And this is already being incorporated. This was seen during the trial of these proton pump inhibitors when they were being developed, that when vagus nerve is stimulated, compassion is increased, then the anti-inflammatory process is reduced, aging is improved. This is being tried in America. Dr. Sharma must be very much aware of it. And this is legally possible, one. Second, which Dr. Sharma said, that can we really return to the our old, what family you say that? Joint family system, perhaps taking technology into consideration with the digital revolution and net, returning people and telemedicine, returning people back from the street to the home, the wives to work online from home. Maybe the joint family may return, and our idea of training, better training caregivers in compassion training, that is self-compassion, environmental compassion, and developing a compassion ring in district, province, state would very much improve.
Sir,
guideline.
I've taken your both points, and I sincerely pray God that in future both of them turn out to be true. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma. We request Dr. VP Rao to felicitate Dr. Sharma this afternoon with a memento of our love and appreciation. Let's give Dr. O.P. Sharma a big round of applause.
I will accept this memento only if a bigger round of applause is given for Dr. V.P. Rao.